One of my favorite times of the year in horse racing, as it is with most people who love the sport of kings, is the weeks leading up to the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Derby weekend. The wagering opportunities are plentiful. There are always shots to take, and just as important, there are always horses to bet against, and some of them are going to be short prices. On the Kentucky Derby Past the Wire annual seminar, we go into all of this. Deep dive the Oaks, deep dive the Derby, and also look at key races on the Kentucky Derby card leading up to that ultimate test. 1.25 mile, 3-year-olds on the first Saturday in May. What we can do at the Derby seminar is help you be as prepared as possible. Share some shots that we are going to take and some key horses that we're going to bet against. Ticket strategies, wagering strategies, money management, speed figures, pace, projected trips. We cover it all. We get really into it, and we always have a great time, and we try and always put ourselves in position to do some serious shopping after the races. It takes a certain kind of horse, like it takes a certain kind of car to win on those big days. We are going to seek them out, and if it works out, they'll never take us alive.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, presented by Am Wager.
50 years, the Kentucky Derby has stood as the most enduring tradition in American sports. And in our time, one stallion is reshaping its legacy. Back-to-back Derby winners. His first son at stud siring another. A dynasty in motion. A motion that again has forward momentum toward Louisville, with another elite crop of 3-year-olds bearing his genes. Spendthrift Farm, home of Into Mischief.
Knowledge, it ain't free. You gotta pay attention, and don't believe the hype.
Welcome, everybody. This is Eddie C. coming at you, and it is Kentucky Oaks Kentucky Derby week. And let's not forget, it's also the Grand Prix Formula One race in Miami. So I got a big week ahead of me. I'm going to see the Oaks races on Friday, the Derby card on Saturday, what two great cards we have. And then on Sunday, I'm going to jump over to the Formula One race here in Miami and hopefully watch my team, Team McLaren, right here. I got the gear on. I'm pumped. They sent me some merch, and looking forward to Sunday as well. But this is about the Kentucky Derby. And what I want to do today is talk to you about a particular horse, one of the top contenders, and my pros and cons on this horse. And this horse is the 18, Sovereignty. Highly regarded horse, a Godolphin bred and owned horse, a homebred, I should say. And the connections of Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado, his first call jockey. This horse has done nothing wrong. His first time out came 4th in a maiden. His second time out came 2nd in a maiden. And then he comes his next race. He runs in the Grade 3 Street Sense at Churchill Downs. And not only wins it, but beats a couple of his contenders here in the race in Tistastic and Sandman in that race. And we all know a win over that track, over the Churchill Down tracks, speaks volumes. So that's a big positive. Then he takes a 4.5 month break, about a little over 9-week break. And he comes back in the Fountain of Youth at Gulfstream Park. And boy, he was impressive in the Fountain of Youth. Comes back after that break and wins. And wins not by much, but he did beat another Kentucky Derby horse, and I'm going to butcher the name, but Neoquist. And Neoquist ran third, but he did beat him. And then he comes back. His next race is going to be the Florida Derby. Had a little bit of a bobble at the break. I don't want to say a stumble, but just a little bit of a bobble that may have cost him the race. Again, he beat Neoquist there, but he was beaten by Tapan Street, who would have been one of the top contenders in the Derby, but he's off the Derby trail now. The one thing I will give you a little caution to is that in the comment line on the DRF, I look at the formulator these days. It says that Sovereignty was gaining on Tapan Street and only lost by a little bit over a length. Well, I'm going to tell you that Tapan Street, the last couple hundred yards, in my opinion, after watching the replays, which I do all the time, was kind of wrapped up. Knew he had it won, and he got wrapped up, and that's what maybe let him close a little bit, and Sovereignty closing towards the finish line there. They also kind of walked at the end of that race. So I didn't really like that race all that much. You know, look, the horse, there's nothing wrong with Sovereignty. He's out of Into Mischief, out of Bernardini mare. I got to take a stand against him, and here's why. Every year, one of the top contenders in the Kentucky Derby either doesn't fire, gets a bad trip, gets bottled up in traffic, or gets shut off. And, you know, Sovereignty is a closer, and we got about a half a dozen closers that are going to be doing the same thing. And one of them is right inside of him in Sandman. Okay, so here's some of the reasons I'm not going to use Sovereignty as my top choice or even my second choice. I may use them on the bottom half of my tries and superfectas. There's a lot of speed in this race. Most of it is inside of him. You've got the 1, the 2, the 4, the 7, the 11. But you've also got the 20. And when you have this horse coming out from the 20 hole and Owen Almighty, he's going to break and break fast. Maybe he shuts off, you know, a couple of the horses inside of him. It's a tough deal. It could happen. It happens every year. So that's one of the reasons I'm not going to use him, because I think he might get shut off early and have a little too much ground to make up later on in the race. The second reason is you have the 4 horse and one of the 2 Baffert horses in the race in Rodriguez. And I personally think Rodriguez is going to break and potentially be a blocker for Citizen Bull, who's on the rail. So Rodriguez may take a couple of the horses and push them out wide. So Sovereignty and some of the other horses may be parked wide throughout not just the first turn, but all the way around the track. I think that's a factor in this race as well. You've got a couple other horses that are going to be in the second flight that I believe are also going to get the first jump on Sovereignty, one of them being Journalism. I think Journalism could sit a pocket trip behind the speed and get the first jump on them. And there's a few others in there that as well are going to get another jump on Sovereignty. So, you know, again, there's a lot of, the wide post doesn't help. A handful of horses having the same type of running style as him. He's going to need a lot of racing luck to get there. And don't get me wrong, I think he's going to come running at the end. I think he's just going to have a little bit of too much ground to make up to get to the winner's circle. And I'm just pulling up something else here that I also find important. More than likely, because it happens every year, we may get a defection. And if Baeza gets in, well, now you got another horse to look out that you're going to have to try to run down. And Baeza ran a quality race in its last race in the Santa Anita Derby, just got beat out by Journalism. So I just think there's a couple other horses in here that you could use. the tries and super and the Derby always bring value. So I just got to take a stand against a horse that I know a lot of you love, but you got to take a stand against one of the top contenders. I'm not using Sovereignty in my top two choices. Good luck to everybody. Let's all have a great weekend. Let's hope the weather holds out for both the Oaks and the Derby Day, and let's all win some money. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
There's a lot of ways to handicap a horse race and a lot of ways to bet on it. But nobody that I know does it like Giosetti and his full card, precise order handicap. Every horse in the race gets a predicted order of finish like only Gio can do, way beyond a deep dive, available exclusively on select days at Past the Wire.
Hey, Sure Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Sure Bet Coffee.
Know that, my man.
It's always a pleasure for me, Jonathan, to be with you. You were the first person that gave me an interview when I came to United States, so I will be grateful to you forever.
I knew you were one of the best riders in the world.
Himself, Frankie Dettori. Ciao, Frankie. Tutto a posto.
Tutto a posto. Yes, that's a good start. So you haven't lost your Italian.
Tracking trips at Past the Wire. There is no better time than now to join and ride with this claim. We'll be your second set of expert trained eyes. We ain't gonna buy you a fish. Sure, we'll give you some, but more importantly, we'll show you how to fish and make you a better better. CAWs, sharks in the water, no problem. We'll go against anybody, and we have the track record to prove it. Big days, big pools, and select days all year long. We'll outplay them all. Looking for an ace? You're in the right place. Want to find that diamond? Be with us. Want to know more? Just ask a member or visit us at pastthewire.com and check out the Tracking Trips page. Nobody does it better.
Past the Wire TV, your #1 source for horse racing news and interviews, handicapping analysis, betting insights, and more. Past the Wire TV covers the biggest races at the best tracks.
Garnet and Luis Saez to win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. The Grey Wizard is absolutely flying. Champagne won. The Grey Wizard, oh, it's very close. Leave it to the judge.
Like, share, and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Nobody does it better.